I used to think I had everything right: ads, copy, landing pages. But no one was buying. Then I stumbled on this one psychological sales trick, and I almost didn't use it. But when I did, my conversions exploded. Most people ignore this because it feels too simple. But it taps into a hardwired human behavior, and once I show you how to use it, you'll never sell the same way again. Here's the crazy part. I wasn't doing anything wrong on paper. My product was solid, the pricing was competitive, and the value clear as day. But the results didn't match the effort. And honestly, it was frustrating. Then it hit me: most of us are taught to sell with logic. We highlight features, compare numbers, talk about benefits in a checklist-style format. But humans don't buy based on logic alone. We buy based on feeling, emotion, and instinct, then we justify it with logic afterward. That's where most online businesses slip up. They lead with their brain, not with their buyer's behavior. You can have the best offer in the world, but if it doesn't feel right to the customer, if it doesn't connect on a psychological level, it won't sell. Great products still fail every day. Not because they aren't useful, but because they're presented in a way that doesn't resonate. And that's exactly what I was doing wrong. The trick I ignored: it's called future pacing. At first, it sounded like some cheesy marketing buzzword. I remember thinking, there's no way just changing a few words could make that big of a difference. But here's the thing: future pacing taps into something way deeper than marketing. It taps into how our brains are wired to make decisions. Future pacing is all about helping your audience mentally experience what their life could look like after they say yes to your offer. Not just telling them the benefits, but walking them through it, step by step, like it's already happened. There's a reason it works. Our brains are incredibly responsive to what's called mental simulation. When we imagine something vividly, like having more free time, feeling confident on a client call, or seeing sales notifications pop up, it lights up the same neural pathways as actually experiencing it. Add to that our built-in bias for anticipated reward, and suddenly, buying becomes a no-brainer. But I almost didn't use it. I thought it was too fluffy, too indirect. I was so focused on sounding professional and logical that I forgot the most powerful sales tool we have is our customer's own imagination. Once I stopped ignoring it and started using it the right way, everything changed. So here's how I applied it. I took one of my sales messages that said something like, "This tool will save you 5 hours a week on admin tasks." Straightforward, right, but totally forgettable. It was all logic, no emotion, no vision. I rewrote it using future pacing. Instead of throwing out a stat, I started with this. Imagine this: it's Monday morning. You're sipping your coffee, inbox already cleared, tasks already sorted, and the chaos you used to wake up to, it's gone. You didn't even have to lift a finger. That's what this tool quietly does for you behind the scenes. Now the reader's not just reading a benefit, they're feeling it. They're placing themselves inside that outcome. That's the shift. And anyone can do this. It's not about being a copywriter, it's about following a simple flow. First, start with a relatable before. What's the pain or frustration your customer is dealing with right now? Maybe it's late nights, endless tabs open, or another launch that didn't convert. Then, paint a vivid after. Help them picture what their life looks like once your solution kicks in. Be specific. Use sensory details. Talk about feelings, not just results. Finally, create the emotional contrast. That's where the magic happens. When they can feel the gap between where they are and where they could be, the brain starts closing that gap by looking for the next logical step, which is often clicking buy. It's not pushy. It's not hype. It's just letting them borrow your vision of what's possible, until they believe in it themselves. What happened next honestly surprised me. After making that small tweak, just rewriting my message with future pacing, my click-through rate jumped by over 30%. Same audience, same offer, just a different approach. And the real kicker: sales didn't just trickle in, they surged. People were replying to emails, asking questions, and actually thanking me for understanding what they were going through. That had never happened before. But it didn't stop with me. I started applying the same principle across other parts of my funnel: landing pages, automated emails, even product descriptions. Every place where I had once been super logical and dry, I swapped it with future-paced language. The engagement metrics told the story. Bounce rates dropped. Session time went up. People weren't just reading, they were connecting. I tested it with a client in the fitness coaching niche. We rewrote one email in her onboarding sequence to open with, "Picture yourself 3 weeks from now, pulling on jeans that haven't fit in years, feeling light, confident, and completely in control." That one email, it doubled her client retention rate. Another client runs an e-commerce store selling productivity tools. I used to think I had everything to his automated abandoned cart emails. Tomorrow morning could look totally different, organized, focused, and finally on top of things. Open rates improved. More importantly, so did conversions. The best part is, none of this was magic. It was psychology. And once I saw the pattern, I realized how many businesses out there are leaving money on the table simply because they're not speaking to the future version of their customer. You don't need fancy tools or tricks. You just need to understand the brain of your customer. Because at the end of the day, we're not selling products, we're selling outcomes, feelings, transformations. And when you guide someone to feel the result before they actually get it, that's when they buy. So if you've been stuck tweaking your funnel, rewriting your copy, or wondering why things aren't converting, try this. Step into their future. Paint the picture. Let them experience the win before they make the leap. Want more psychology-backed sales hacks that work even when you sleep? Hit subscribe and let's automate your growth smarter.